This is Between the Lines, the reason for the rhyme, getting into the mind of the artist. And today we have the infamous Cola Rum.
How you doing?
Blessed and highly favored. Good to see your face. We've been hearing some great things. We got to get into it, from being a novelist, 20 years spoken word artist.
Yeah.
I checked it out and listened to some of your. We got the novel right there, Tracy. Can we get a zoom in? Bring it forward.
Yeah, that's the novel.
And so for the people who don't know about it, because I saw this interview on how you came up with the name of this specific book. Can you let the people know who don't know this book and what had you come up with this name of this book?
Yeah, I came up with the name of the book because to supplement my income doing poetry, I work unarmed contract security, and a lot of time I work it on the graveyard shift. So that's why the cover it's in a graveyard. You got the tombstone because it's a graveyard shift. But when you're working unarmed contract security, a lot of times people don't show up. And so the boss be needing somebody to stay over. And when you're working for a black security company and they say that, everybody look at each other and shake their head, no, nigga, I ain't doing no fucking double. I'm going home, you know what I'm saying? My shift was from 6 to 6, not 6 to 6:05. I'm not doing another shift. I'm going home. And so when I was thinking of the title of it, I said, of course. Why don't I just call it, no, nigga, ain't doing a fucking double. You know, because that's what it's all about, doing a double on the graveyard shift.
Yes, that is catchy. It is catchy, and it makes you think, what? And it's not a little book. That is Tracy, can you hold it up again? That's a novel.
It's a doggone novel. I mean,
that's not no beginner's luck thing going on. I mean,
it's not what they would call like a coffee table book. It's not a coffee table book. Yeah, it's a real layered novel. You know, I took time to do it. It's 2 books. The other one come out next year. And so it's 2, and the other book is thicker than that one.
Lord, it's like Harry Potter level.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's a real, it's real. Both novels are real novels, and I wanted them like that. Because we don't have enough. You have black women writing layered novels, but you don't have enough black men writing layered novels.
Okay.
The only genre you see a lot of black men do, they're trying to do like the Donald Goins type of street novels, and they be real thin. So I was so I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Black men don't have enough layered, real, rich novels where you can pick it up 5 years later and read it again and pick up something in it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to sit back. I'm graduating from poetry and just take my poetry into the novel world. So I just sat back and just wrote those 2 novels and took my time on them too, and wrote them because I wanted them to be rich. And so, and I think about the novels that I like rich novels, and so I said, I wanted to, I said, I'm writing it for everybody, but specifically black men with brains. Okay. So that's what I wrote it for, because they don't have enough novels that they could just get into and read. Is not enough of them, So you have a lot of black men with brains. They tend to read a lot of novels from white guys. Yeah, because you don't have enough black, real rich novels. So I said, when I sat down to write, I said, okay, I'm gonna dive deep in it and make it real layered.
Well, as a poet, you are a storyteller. I mean, your flows be like epic. You know what I'm saying? So it does not surprise me, not one bit, that you would have a book. When I saw it, I was like, well, dag, when I actually got it in the mail and I opened it, I said, this is fitting of Cola Rum.
Yeah.
And then some people, like, when they're doing their spoken word and they go on and on, you be like, Lord, please, they should have stopped like 5 minutes ago. But with you, you keep people on the edge of their seat. I mean, with your cadence and your, I mean, this doesn't surprise me. This is fitting for you.
When I would do the poetry, mine would go long, but I would still always be aware of the crowd. And so I would always write it to hold the crowd. And so, like you said, a lot of people would be going on and on and on and on, but they be talking to themselves. Whereas I was doing it, but I was aware that the crowd coming with me. So I would put humor in it. I might break out and start singing during the poem. So I had jokes in the poem, humor, serious moments, but I was always aware of the crowd now, so I would always have them coming with me. So when I would do those long poems, people be like, damn, that poem was 10 minutes long, but you held the crowd for 10 minutes. I said, yeah, I was conscious of them the whole time while I was writing it, you know.
And the name of the story is called The Magic of Monet Moulin. That shit sounds beautiful, don't it? All right, here we go. As the sleepy sun's heaping gates clocked out for that evening break, and a blue moon decided to awake. Blue beautified Friday skies made my hypnotized eyes ache. Tuned from the mild monsoon of the June windy croons was baked. Now I was expressing a fresh in costume, I zoomed from an emperor's dressing room, room to loom, butterfly in a cocoon bathroom to animate first rate for my date like buffoons in afternoon cartoons. I had told Queenie the white-collar dollar bill deal of automobiles economically ain't my thing. Explaining euphemistic slang in English plain, I'm a shining star minus a car, so love, you got to meet me at the train. Now, Queenie wasn't her name, but Queenie was her game. Because Cola named to sustain the soul he see. And not the famed picture frame chicane Jane, whose brain is trained to flatter. Because the name of a dame whose dome is deranged is a name, and Cola's a strange brain that damn sure don't matter. So Queenie was the preferred word I bird, but his undeterred songbirds hardly heard. The gospel soul threshold to my soul say, love, I ain't for this issue. This empress was blessed with the feather finesse to caress my masculine collars and her feminine problems. And never maneuver mental manure malice into my peace and short palace with the stank of rank enemy issues. Queenie proclaimed, Cole, it's strange. You got me going out on a date on the train. I say, Queenie, this ain't no train. This is a ladies' limousine of pristine fashion. Fashion from the cream wet dreams of past quivering queens, whose esteemed vaginas esteem fiend for wicked tongue to contravene, split the seam and lick it clean. So serene as limousine seems to lays on steam as we careen over the rough terrain. Destination, a lustful location where emotional masturbation from orgasmic licks of vocal lacerations are achieved. And into a tear-soaked moat surrounding the astoundings of heaven, naive, hopeless each hearts are hopelessly heaved. The fate of our days is what the lungs of lonely life suffocate, and the door and arteries of naughty camaraderie are relieved up to breathe, to breathe. This eve, that park over there, is a drama-free sea which precede our flavored flower of mental contented tears that for years and dead romance were read. Now I'm an unusual man, used to secondhand, because my usual hand is always built out of money. So the flesh brush in my pantomime mind painted the confined and fainted landmarks of this time-tainted park into an illusional land of chocolate milk and molasses honey. Before the green ching-ching of Queen's American cashier dreams were deemed to judge it and smudge it. While y'all players hit costly court to the nightlife sport bawling. Cola's expenses is common. It was a sense that me and this hedonist miss who dispensed the spearmint scent wrote a penny pinch bench. But using my amusing imagination for improvisation to form a spiritual spirit of glitter creations, Queenie's genie up with dreams, I rubbed it right in clitoris, felt love wealth from her covet's love, couldn't help but love it. For a promissory mouthpiece of an artiste unleashed, increased my budget.
That's amazing. Well, I know we jumped in to just go right into the novel, but let's take it back.
Okay.
Let's take it back some years, right? And what got you started first in the artistry of being a spoken word artist, and what inspired you?
The artistry, well, I went to the, like I tell everybody, I left the University of Florida. I was at the University of Florida communication school for film. Yeah, but while I was at the school of film, oh yeah, Tracy, I know a lot of filmmakers, and I still have a filmmaker's mind. Okay. And so even up here, I was telling this to another young lady. I was telling her that I talked to a lot of filmmakers, just as much as I talk to poets, you know, and I read a lot of film books, and I can talk to you about film and about movies and stuff because, yeah, I went to school for it, but I was also making beats in school. And so the beats making and the DJing pulled me out of the University of Florida. And when I first got to Atlanta, that's what I was doing. I was beat making and I was doing beat making and I was getting ready to do thinking about how to do film, but I was DJing and making beats. And then I said I always wanted to do film, but I said I didn't understand the computer enough, and I saw that's the way that everything was going. So I got back to Georgia State, and I started going to Georgia State to understand the computer more. But while I was at Georgia State, you had to do a lot of math. So I said, I got to come out of my head from doing this math. So what I would do, I would go to Uptown Comedy Club, and I would go up there and do comedy, and then I would go to the Yin Yang Cafe to do poetry.
Yeah.
I remember Yin Yang. Yes. You taking me back.
Yeah, I was doing both of those, and then and like I said, Corey Whitehead, the artist, the painter, yes. He was doing spoken word. I mean, he was doing comedy too. And so that's why I say all these little strings. I'm naming people because like DJ Tabone, who was on 89.3, he was in the communication school with me at Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, but when I was at Uptown Comedy Club, Little Duval.
Yeah.
He was rolling back then.
Mm-hmm.
And rolling from Jacksonville. And I'm from Jacksonville. So rolling, you'd see me on stage sometime and stuff. My stuff would be too deep for them sometimes. And they couldn't understand. And so the roller said, you know what, you're good at that poetry. The comedy, yeah, you know, I said, so he gave me a ride one day and said, what you good at, it comes natural. You know, basically you good at poetry. And so that was the last day I went to the comedy spot. And so once I started doing the poetry, I was still going to Georgia State University. And me and this female went to the Funk Jazz Cafe. And a poet had got up and he was not that good. And you know me, I'm boisterous. So I said, he sucked. Why don't you get up there? Why don't you get up there and do it? Why don't you? I said, God damn it, I will. So I went home and I wrote a poem about my battle with evil and trying to keep evil at bay. And then I came out the next Funk Jazz Cafe, which was a big event that used to take place at the Tabernacle. It was historic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that.
I got up and I performed, and I was the first person called up. And when I went up and I did the poem, this old black man got up in the front and said, I don't need to hear nothing else. You done said it all, young man.
Wow.
And everything clicked. You know, it was just a clicking. And I said, okay, that's the lane I'm supposed to be going now. And so after that, I just left everything else. I just focused in on the poetry. I left Georgia State and I just focused in on the poetry and just started moving in that direction ever since. And that's how I began.
I can tell you, I don't remember when, but I heard you years ago, and exactly what you're saying is spot on. The way you captivated the crowd, the animation, how you delivered, it was, you got sucked in. You got sucked in. So when Tracy was like, Cola Rum, I remember Cola Rum, boy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're the truth. You are the truth.
I mean, I try. That's all I can do. I tell the people just doing my job. That's all, just doing my job, trying to do my job, you know, and staying focused on my job.
Now I'm wondering, right, with your background saying, what you studied, you being in the arts, writing a novel, are you thinking about possibly turning one of your books into a movie, a documentary? Like, what's next for you?
I mean, if you read the first book, it's a lot. It could be a lot of screenplays because there's a lot of stories. That's all in that book. It's just a bunch of stories because I'm telling you all these people's stories on a night shift. So there's a lot of stories in it. And the possibilities for screenplays. I mean, I'm good with words of any type. I can write screenplays. I can write a poem. I can write a speech. I can do anything. But I'm I'm focused on the novels, but if a screenplay comes in my direction, I'll do it. Or I'll give somebody the license to do it. Yeah, but I got 2 more. These 2 books is 1 story. I got 2 more stories. And I don't know how many books they're going to take. Because I thought this was going to be 1 book, but it turned into 2 books. Because when I started writing it, it just expanded. And so as they expanded, I had to cut it in half. So I'm already outlining the 2nd story. And it's probably going to take, like I'm about to hit 50. And it's going to take me my 50s to finish the 2nd story. And then the 3rd story is going to be my 60s. So.
You're going to be like August Wilson. You're going to be like Harry Potter, August Wilson.
Yeah.
All wrapped up.
This story I took, it took 9 years to do those 2 books.
Wow, yeah.
But when you read it, you will realize why. Because it got a lot. It has a lot of history in it. It has a lot of different information. I take you into historic Atlanta, especially in the 2nd book. I talk to you about, you got a history lesson about the Negro Indians that was in the Atlanta area at the end of the 2nd book. It got the Mingus, which is my favorite jazz musician. His music is the soundtrack for both novels. Yeah, so I got a lot of things going on throughout the books. People that been reading, when they start reading, they say, okay, this is a real novel. I say, yeah. They say, you got a lot going on. I say, yeah, it's a lot going on. I said, I took my time. So my vision right now, like I said, I got 2 more stories to write. The 2nd story, I just started this year in January for the outline. I'm taking the whole year to do the outline, because it got to be real detailed to do it. But I don't know how many books the 2nd story gonna take, It might be 2 books, it might be 3. I don't know, So I'm just gonna, once the pen start burning, after the 1st year, I realize how many books they're gonna take. I did that for 1 for myself, and like I said in the book, for all the eclectic ghetto bastards around the world, because it's a lot of us. To the people who don't know, those were the young boys in the ghetto that listen to rap and classical music, that's sitting, reading comic books and dictionaries. We're an eclectic group. So that's why I dedicated the book to first. And for my mother always said I was her mystery child. So I wrote it for her. And then for 3rd, like I said, I wrote it for Black men with brains, to give them something that they could really read.
Yes.
They could give it to their son and say, I want you to read this, tell what you think about this.
I love that.
Yeah, something with some meat on it. So like I said, that's why I said I'm just doing my job, because I got those two more stories to do. Whatever come from will come from. I'm just gonna sit back and just relax after that. Just sit on the porch and smoke a joint when be an old man. And let it do what it do.
I said, love. In the naked illustration of this menage a trois habitation, our relaxation and communication with silently suckling toes of flirtation. As in snaps sheer laughter from love affairs of the hereafter, hierarchy like the remarks. So those who hold dog hearts that don't bark with the mystics of artistic birthmark, smothers delight this lover's paradise with the shudder and covered sight of a simplistic park. She said, well, Cole, if this not a simplistic park, are those trees? I say, Queenie, please. They're world-renowned upside-down emerald chandeliers. A ground and a symbol to dismantle your fears. For fears are not Jim guests in the luminous heart of an impressed whose enthused freaky strings have been ringed by the whispering gleams of seductive scene that the majesties of other side virgin eyes are surprisingly seeing. And in this tryst hour, those plants that pose are not flowers, but orchids of our self-portraits that had its dramatics transformed into cinematic form, sparring the pristine dreams of a jewel-class queen and the eye-ching sheen of her cool as king. For every mental picture I style, God will reconcile the oral art that departs from the ink carp of this heart with the beautifully beguiled love vows that filed through your smile. And the bewitching wiles of your nubile smile makes it worthwhile for miles of sentimental mental pictures of versatile styles to prophetically profile. The city skyline is a monument of stirred cement that complements your urban common sense. The water spilling from that fountain is sort of filling some mountain as small as your heart's reservoir. Those bums are poor peasants who gave these outdoors the financial pleasant tents, transplanted moolah, granted the enchanted demeanor of Zarina's organic boudoir. The night street lights, the candles of warm white insight that guide the sunrise of your eyes as the day's rays idolize this hell of a handsome man who holds the majesty's hands. The fire flies on and off glows a soft show to let us know the air flow of love come and go. So let's go to the throat, mellow shots of Merlot at this furlough bar, a short hair hoopla, and be ecstatic in the magic of will. Ah, well, I was fucking her head up. Hey, if you figure out what I was doing since she tried to test me, she said, well, Cola, I had a diction of a royal musician who was Christ christened to make my intuition listen. Where's this strumming of Shangri-La who's humming as fa-fa-fa? I looked around. I said, oh, that's that old cat Cafe Fred over there with them great dreads strumming on that guitar. We laughed, discussing our high-priced paths through the eye of life's plastic and glass. From its decline, rich spirits are defined. The power of power soft snuggles across the troubles of our costly struggles, and the presence expensive unpleasant binds whose blunders hunger to undermine. Me and Queenie exposed the fluent goals for future bank rolls, which polished the second thought of doubt in our minds, letting the second onslaught of confidence to shine. The night's rough chime with good times were intertwined in the exam of each other's inner glam sublime, and we didn't have to spend a goddamn dime. So to all the men with small ends, who some income from gutter steeple grinds, come in on color people time. And your forsaken hearts wakers and wait for great smuck and dip lips of a lover to pucker. But women's preoccupation with free indoctrination is facing you as just another sucker. Take notes. The flare of my air builds me and my skills a billionaire because this imagination is a motherfucker. Thank you.
When I first was going to write them, when I was thinking about, saying, okay, I got to graduate from the poetry. And my wife at the time, we were sitting around, and I was reading in the newspaper, and it was talking about Alexander Dumas. And that's the black guy that wrote Three Musketeers and Count of Monte Cristo. So they said when he got old, he read his book. And when he was reading his books, he was laughing. He was so entertained with the books he wrote. And I thought about it, and I had told my ex, I said, now, this is the way I would like to retire from art. Sitting back as an old man reading some books I wrote. You know what I'm saying? So that's what put me on the path. And that started it up.
Wow.
That started it up. And then the decision to write the books, the first books came from, I was going around the country doing poetry. And when I was going to cities and they would ask me how I supplement my income, I said, man, I do unowned contract security. And I started telling them about the people I work with. Man, I would have the whole room laughing. People going into their life. Yeah, and this guy, he talked and walked like this, and I had everybody. And so I said, you know what? That's the first book. Yeah. That's the first book. And so that's how I started.
But, but I am looking at your book, and you have a key in the back of your book explaining your world, your slang terms and phrases.
Oh yeah. I got the slang terms that black people, blue collar world use. And I also had slang terms that we on the night shift for that particular building use. So it's two different, so I got two different, that you can always draw on when you're reading it, and a word might throw you off. You can go in the back of the book and look. So that's in the back of the book. And I also got, to give it some authenticity, it got a picture of me with a security outfit on when I used to be, at night I would come in there from doing a poetry show, and I'd be at a desk with my books and stuff, and I'd be writing the poem. And one night, this lady took a picture of me while I was doing that. And that's the picture in the back of the book.
Tracy, can you hold it up?
Oh, wait a minute.
He's looking. There we go.
Yeah, that's the picture. Yeah, that's the picture. So, yeah. So that's, So that's the journey I'm on right now.
And you touched a lot of ground, and just done a lot from what I'm hearing. Are there any like lanes that you have not explored yet and that you're just eager to get in? or any subject you haven't talked about yet or presented?
Not really. I can do like I said, I'm good with words on anything, but it will have to come to me. I mean, like I can do screenplays, or I could do like speech writing for people. I can do any, like sometimes I sit back and watch politicians make mistakes about stuff they say on television. I'll be like, he shouldn't have said that. She shouldn't have said that. You know, yeah. I'd be like, man, what was they thinking? Or, like film school, and being with words, I see so many, you got so many horrible stories, so many horrible movies out, and so many, you probably got about 10% good movies and about 90% trash.
True.
Yeah, and I've been watching a movie, and you watch the movie, you'll get into it, be good at the beginning, and all that happen, you be like, what happened to the movie?
Yep.
It just became hard. Yeah, the story writing got bad. So if that presents itself, I would do it. The screen, a screen. That's one thing I want to do: a screenplay, a screenwriting. But it will have to present itself, because writing novels takes so much of your time.
Yeah.
So much dedication. Yeah, it really does. A lot of people don't realize it. And I was telling this to somebody who interviewed me. I was telling them, I said, when you get somebody who has a real good novel that you like, one of those real good novels, one of them layered novels, is like someone's getting a master's degree in creative writing and a BS degree in education. Do so much research on the book. It's like getting a bachelor's degree in education, and it's like getting a master's degree in creative writing. Every chapter you have, you got to sit back and think about how you're gonna come at the chapter.
Right.
What they're gonna be dressed like. How I'm gonna describe the skin tone of the people. You have to do so much creative thinking, and it takes so much of your time. So it's like the novels that I'm writing, it takes so much of your time and so much dedication that anything else, it will have to present itself to me, because I don't have time to go pursue it, but if it presents itself to me and like a lane open up and they just come to me and say, here, then I'll say, I'll do it. But it'll have to present itself to me, because the writing novels, I see why so many you only got a few that's really good, because it takes time. You have to really put the time in, and really do it good. So, yeah.
I think that's in your future. I mean, because when you went from saying, when you started writing and performed, and you were able to call someone out and say that was trash, and then you were challenged to say, okay, we'll come with something better. And you just made the comment that some movies, 10%, maybe good, 90% trash. So I think your future, we're already putting the energy in the atmosphere, and you won't even have to write nothing. You already did the writing. You just need somebody to take what you've written and do something with it. You already did the hard part.